following video is brought to you by YouTubePromos.com. It's pretty hard to be noticed in today's YouTubing community, so whether you're trying to make videos for a hobby or you're trying to make it a business-related endeavor, check out YouTubePromos.com. They can 100% guarantee you an increase in viewers and subscribers for affordable prices. Head over to YouTubePromos.com/atomic to get 10% off one of their pricing plans. And with that said, guys, welcome to Atomic Comms.
Hello there, Nintendo normies. Paul Neon Davidson here. Nintendo just announced that the Virtual Console is not going to be coming to the Switch. Am I the only one here that doesn't really seem to care? That, children, was a meme. That makes me cool. I don't know how to do intros.
Let's do this.
So yes, indeed, people, the Virtual Console will not be coming to the Nintendo Switch. At least, possibly, not in the way that we think. What do I mean by that exactly? Well, like in most of my videos, I'm going to go into the basic facts that I have found online about this subject matter, and then later on I will get into my more personal views on the Virtual Console not coming to the Switch, which was made apparent a little bit by my little intro that I did. I am awesome at making intros. So let us start off by having me read a few quotes from Kotaku.com, where they talked about the Virtual Console not coming back for the Nintendo Switch. This is coming from a Nintendo spokesperson who told Kotaku, "There are currently no plans to bring classic games together under the Virtual Console banner, as has been done on other Nintendo systems. There are a variety of ways in which classic games from Nintendo and other publishers are made available on Nintendo Switch, such as through Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online, Nintendo eShop, or as a packaged collection. Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online will provide a fun new way to experience classic NES games that will be different from the Virtual Console service, thanks to enhancements such as added online play, voice chat via the Nintendo Switch Online app, and the various play modes of Nintendo Switch." So now I'll go back into what I was talking about the Virtual Console coming back in a way that we are not expecting. It said right here, under the Virtual Console banner, which means that the old games could make a comeback, just not under Virtual Console, because with Virtual Console, you know, this thing has been around for over a decade, and all we know about for the Virtual Console is that it's literally just emulations of games from the NES era up till the N64 era. And they're just trying to move past that, Nintendo, I mean. I can see what they're going with here, which is going to go into my personal opinion that I don't really care that the Virtual Console is being taken away, is not going to be brought to the Nintendo Switch. Because really, guys, and I actually brought this up a little bit with the recent Nintendo Switch Online service video that I had made a few days ago, in that we're supposed to be getting these NES games that come with the Switch Online service, and while I said that it really was not worth it, you know, for $20 or whatever, at the same time, it's a new take on the NES games. At that point, it's just a matter of how are you going to execute this, and how cool or, you know, how fleshed out are these online NES games going to be. And the reason why they're getting rid of the Virtual Console is because they're trying to do new things with these classic games, i.e. having online play in these NES games. Virtual Console games are literally one-to-one emulated versions of ROMs that you could pretty much get on your PC, but you're playing it on a Wii, or your 3DS, or your Wii U. So there's nothing really that new to them, aside from the fact that you're playing it on a completely different console, which is, you know, a little bit exhausting. How many times have you heard somebody complain about the fact that they have to buy, you know, Super Mario RPG, or the original Super Mario Brothers, or Super Metroid, or whatever, some classic game, over and over and over again on new systems? I would know, because I bought Super Mario Brothers and like Mega Man 5 multiple times on multiple systems. And literally the only time I ever got excited for a virtual console game is if it was like a rare game, like a really rare game, like Donkey Kong 64 on the Wii U. That was a game I was kind of excited for because I've never played that game. And this is from a time where Nintendo was still being experimental, where Rare was still working for them. So being able to play this game was interesting. But when it comes to like Mario RPG or something like that, a game you could already get on all the other consoles, it doesn't really matter. Earthbound was another one. That was a re-release of a really rare game that had not been seen in the public eye for several years, with the exception of like its fan base and all that. And having to buy it over and over again on multiple systems would just get annoying, and it's a waste of money. Nintendo kind of made a roundabout way of like getting around this by like giving people who bought a certain game discounts on all the other versions. But that's not really saying much or doing much, because really that should not have been the case. And that was part of the reason why they did the whole linking systems thing with the Wii U and the 3DS, and they brought the Switch in, is to try to get around that. But look, I would love to have certain games on the go, especially like some of the N64 games or whatever like that. I would love to have those games be brought on the go, especially if they're really like old gems from the N64 SNES era. At the same time though, it's just not worth it anymore. I'm really glad that Nintendo is no longer having to use this virtual console system branding, and they're trying to do new things. And while the virtual console won't be available anymore, with the Switch, there are a lot of ways to get around this. You're seeing one of them on the screen right now. This is Versus Super Mario Brothers. It's part of the Arcade Archives collection, which has a lot of entries in it. It has a lot of SNK games, Neo Geo games. There's a lot of fighters and just arcade games in general, really, that you would have found back in the 90s. And these games are, pretty good. They're good quality. There's a lot of stuff you can do with them. Like in Versus Super Mario Brothers, since I'm showing it off, I showed it off in the beginning of the video. You can apply filters to it to make it look like you're playing it on a CRT TV. You're probably seeing the effect of there right now. And you can affect like what other modes you want to play. Like there's some point modes, there's some timed modes for certain games. There's some multiplayer modes, of course. Like in the other arcade archive game that I have, which is Waku Waku 7, it's a pretty good fighter. There's even like a version of it. You can play multiple versions of the game. You can play the Japanese version of it. You can play the English version of it. And there's online leaderboards for all this stuff. It's a really cool system. Now, yes, this doesn't sound like much. I mean, it's like, oh, great, you can play Super Mario Brothers with an old 80s filter over it. But it's still more than what the virtual console was giving us, and it is still another way for you to be able to have Super Mario Brothers on the go with a Nintendo Switch. Now, if you have a 3DS, that really shouldn't be a problem because the virtual console is still on there, but there are new, rarer games that are being put onto the Switch. Like, you can't get most of these Neo Geo games on the Nintendo 3DS, and who knows what these new NES games are going to end up playing like with the online service. Again, I'm going to get the online service, even though I wouldn't really recommend it just yet. My opinions on it have not been that finalized. I want to see what the actual service is like, and I want to try out one of these online games. And if it ends up being really cool and executed in the right way, I might end up forgiving them for a lot of things. But for right now, this is all we really got. Now, I have seen plenty of videos about people complaining about the virtual console not coming to the Switch, one of them being Arlo, everybody's favorite Grover ripoff. Okay, I'm not actually going to make fun of Arlo. He's kind of a cool guy. I like his videos, and also, he's kind of an inspiration to me, because if a blue puppet can make it on YouTube talking about Nintendo games, so can a green dragon. Now, look, I'm not saying I don't understand why people would want the virtual console on the Switch. I totally understand why. It's a convenient way to get all these games onto one nice place. And I totally agree. I would like to be able to buy the games that I want. Because some of the NES games, like I said in my last video, I don't really care all that much about. Like, I don't really want to play Balloon Fight or Dr. Mario with online service. But at the moment, this and the arcade games are the only way we're going to be able to play these games and all that as of right now. We won't be able to know anything else until later down the line when maybe SNES games and N64 games and the like are brought on to the Nintendo Switch. Like I said, I personally just don't want, or I don't care that the Virtual Console is not going to be coming back. I want to wait to see what they have in mind, because Virtual Console banner, you know, the branding is not going to be used anymore, and that's totally fine. If you're trying to do something new, you should probably get rid of the old branding and you do something new. And it's just an old way to get these games, and hopefully they do actually improve on this. Again, we're going to have to wait to see what'll happen later on in the future. And for right now, I'm pretty happy with the games that I have on the eShop and the Switch itself, really. Like, being able to play Super Mario Bros. Versus, like, even though it's not a one-on-one, you know, one-to-one, I should say, recreation of the original Super Mario Bros., it's still an interesting version of the game. It plays exactly the same. It looks different. It has some more features that would not be available in the Virtual Console. But I do miss the days when I could just get any NES game or SNES game. As a matter of fact, I was actually on my 3DS the other day looking at the Virtual Console, and I had a bit of an inkling to get not Splatoon 2. No. Okay, I know what I just said there, but though, that's not a pun. Moving on. I wanted to get Super Metroid. And I probably am. Literally after I record this game, or this video, I will probably go back and buy that, because I really do want to play it. I can't do that on the Nintendo Switch as of right now, and I probably won't be able to do it until much later on, because of whatever Nintendo is planning. Because I forget exactly when the Virtual Console got re-implemented into the Wii U. I knew it I think it was a little bit after the Wii U got released. I know it took a while for the Wii to get it, and the 3DS got it pretty fast. But the Switch is not going to be getting it, and who knows when we'll be able to play these classic games in the original form again. I really don't think I could go much longer on this whole subject matter, because there's not really much else for me to say, aside from what I just said, you know. Why they're not bringing it back, how they can bring it back, what people can do to get around this and all that. But at the same time, there is this weird thing, because Nintendo is definitely starting to break tradition a lot, and the Virtual Console was a big part of some of their previous consoles, and the fact that they're not bringing it back just goes to show that they're doing new things. I know I've said that like 4 or 5 times already, but I am looking forward to seeing how they change things up, and I really do hope it's not just a matter of just naming it something different, you know, the Shmertual console. Wow, that was butchered. I'm not gonna go and say, oh, well, just get the Virtual Console on the Wii, the 3DS, or the Wii U, or get an NES Mini or an SNES Mini or what the heck ever, or emulate it, because that's bad. If you emulate games, you're bad. Bad viewer. Okay. I am also not endorsing that you hack your Nintendo Switch, because apparently on Kotaku, somebody actually hacked their Nintendo Switch and modded it so that way the Virtual Console would be made available to them, you know, just by throwing emulators and ROMs and stuff on there. Don't be doing that either. That's also bad. Okay. The only way to get around this whole thing, guys, legally, is, of course, just by waiting it out. Alright, and if you do have it on the 3DS or whatever, then good. That's the closest to having a Virtual Console on the go that you're going to get. And I think this is part of the problem with Nintendo, really, is that they just aren't clear enough with what they're trying to do, with what their plans are and stuff like that. Because for a while, we didn't know what the heck the online service was going to be. You know, they just don't, they like to be vague about what they are doing with their games and their services and their features and all that stuff. And it kind of hinders a lot of the hype that we're supposed to be getting, because having the virtual console is not that much of a hype, which is the other reason why I didn't really care for it coming back or not, is because there's no real celebration that comes with it. It's like, great, I can play Super Mario Brothers or Super Mario Brothers 3 again. Huzzah. What else is new, you know? Because it's just not, really. So, the fact that they're banking so much on not really telling us what this new virtual console is going to be, and I guess I understand why they're not doing it. Maybe at E3 they'll explain something about it, but for right now, they could definitely do a little bit more elaborating. I feel like I've talked enough about this stuff. I already said I didn't want to ramble any farther on with this subject matter. Again, my personal thoughts on this. I don't really mind that the virtual console is gone. I am looking forward to see what they do with the new service or whatever. And I hope everything works out, really. And I hope you guys end up liking whatever it is that they are planning. E3 is right around the corner. And that will do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for making it this far and listening to me ramble about old video games from the 80s, because I'm old. If you liked what you saw and or listened to, please give it a like. Give this video a like, a comment down. What do you think about the virtual console not coming back to the Nintendo Switch? Are you sad? Are you happy like me? Are you just not, you know, or should I say, are you in the middle of all this stuff like I am? You know, what games are you wishing you would see on the Nintendo Switch? Just tell me all that down in the comments below. I'd like to see what you guys are thinking also. And again, if you liked what you saw, subscribe, because I'm going to be making more videos about Nintendo and video games and all this other crud. E3 is right around the corner, guys. A lot of stuff is going to be coming out and going to be getting announced. And I'm trying to make a video about that as soon and as depthful, or whatever the word is, as soon as possible. And I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys like that one. And I hope you just like me. And I'll see you next time whenever I get around to making another video. Have a good one.